with your host, Dewan B. Intelligent Ish Talk, Intelligent Shit Talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Timer went down a little faster than I thought. I looked up, I was like, hey, I thought I had more time. I don't like making y'all wait. So I'm here. Just getting a few more things straight. How y'all doing? I was outside, I gotta get my Reefer Madness on, you dig? I like to be all the way open. Got my incense burning, all that shit. That's why I call this show Hotep-ish. I'm into a lot of the ancient sciences, man. I am. But I also still eat pork. And I tell people all the time, when it comes to this spiritual shit, you use it to inform your real life. Hold on, I'm making my incense burner. Hold on. There you go. A lot of people that be into this kind of stuff, they be using it as spiritual escapism. The same way we criticize a lot of Christians for doing. Like back when I was in the church, it was a whole lot of people that were in the church. You know what I mean? They was heating and hawing and yes lording. Yes Lord, yes Lord. Every time pastor say a word, pastor be like, turn to Samuel 8 and 9. Oh Jesus, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Samuel 8:9. That same person that be, hallelujah. Yes, Jesus, praise him. You go and talk to them and be like, how you doing, Sister Sandra? And they look at you, rolling their eyes. Ain't never said nothing nice to you in church. The meanest old person in church be the main one saying hallelujah. Those are people who use Christianity as escapism. Those are people who use a spiritual system to not deal with the real world. You've been going to the church for 2 years trying to get right by the Lord. Always in conflict with Sister Maxine because she been going to that same church 35 years. And you trying to get your little, just help out in the church, but you always got to deal with Sister Maxine and her attitude. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Or these Hotep motherfuckers that was on 125th Street, New York for the last 70 years talking about what the Lord, how great they are, nigga. And it took them 2 years to get gentrified about that motherfucker. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person that be like, I know about the 7 laws of Tahuti, and I can quote the 42 laws of Ma'at, top to bottom, number by number. I've been doing this spiritual stuff. Hidden colors ain't nothing but diet Hotepism. Them niggas. You don't want to be that person. They know all the goddamn everything about everything, but don't know how to deal with day-to-day issues. Don't be that person. Don't be that person, all right? But before I get started, it's brought to you by lightthemood.com. Jayla, the self-esteem queen, you get 40% off using the product code WeedSmoke22. 40% off, that's a lot. These candles smell as good as they look, you dig? Lightthemood.com. And you can also get my Black American Music Family Tree at incensandashtrays.com. 400 years of black music created right here in North America, documented from game songs to syncopated dance music to stand-up comedy and spoken word, soul music to funk to pop to hip-hop. You dig? I will be taking requests from y'all later on. Cash apps get highest priority. Today's reading is going to be a little bit different. We're reading the great Kobe Bryant on what would have been his 44th birthday. We're going to read who he was as a person away from the cameras. And we're also going to read his relationship with Vanessa. Why did it work? Why was he attracted to her? What was their relationship like? And when we're done, I'm going to ask y'all, let me know if you like these, if you want me to do more cards of the week or if you want me to read more people that we know about. Today I'm reading Kobe because it's his birthday. But I'll also read other people too, at y'all request. Maybe we can read great historical figures like Dr. John Henry Clark or Ida B. Wells. Maybe we can read some years, like, hey, maybe one day I'll read the year of 1860 and why that Civil War popped off this year. And maybe I'll read reconstruct. I can read years. We can read all kind of stuff when it comes to these cards. It's very interesting. Like, y'all notice I'm coming to y'all every week with different angles on how I'm reading these cards. So again, I hope y'all like it. I know this ain't gonna be my highest rated shows, and I might actually think about starting a separate YouTube channel that's just for the cards. If you think that'd be a good idea too, a separate card channel, let me know. Hit me in the inbox or a comment after the show if you think that'd be cool. You said, am I still reading the 8 of Diamond? If you want me to read the 8 of Diamond, I will, because this is an 8 of Diamond week. This is definitely an 8 of Diamonds week. Well, I could do a quick reading of this since this is an 8 of Diamonds week. All right. Since you asked, Big Sky, I'll do a quick reading of the 8 of Diamonds, and then we'll get into the 3 of Clubs. All right. That sound good to y'all? This is an 8 of Diamonds week. 8 of Diamonds. When you're dealing with 8 of Diamonds, it's an extremely powerful card. It's a card of 8 of Diamonds could also be a very materialistic card. It's a card of fame and fortune. It's a card of 8 of Diamonds is like it's a card of taking charge. So if it's things that you need to do in this week that you've been planning on doing, don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen. That's what the 8 of Diamonds stands for. Make it happen. It ain't gonna do shit until you do shit with it. You dig? This is the time for you to rise up and shine. Don't be scared. And it's oftentimes when I read these cards, man, like when I wrote my book, you really talking to yourself as a reader. Same thing as any kind of teacher. Teaching is an opportunity. The way I look at teaching, and the reason why I teach so much, because for me, teaching is a way to learn twice. You see what I'm saying? Teaching is a way to learn twice. So when you hear somebody teach, it's not, and I won't speak for me, it's not that I'm the grand old expert. I just have a point of view on something that I learned. But I don't speak until I've learned enough to where I feel comfortable speaking. That's the other thing. Some people just want to read something for 5 minutes and go around talking like they're an expert. No. Anything that I've been speaking on is something that I've been sort of keeping my eye on for years. Something that I've sort of been focusing on and seeing for years. And at some point I feel comfortable talking about it. But still, when you teach, it's a way to get perspectives I didn't even see before I said it. But going back to 8 of Diamonds, this has been an 8 of Diamonds week. People who are controlling, you might, if you have any friends that are controlling, look up their birthday. They might be an 8 of Diamonds. If you have any people that are 8 of Diamonds, they might be trying to manipulate some situations, because the 8 of Diamonds can also be a very manipulative card to get what they want. Their control can get to the point to where they like to be straightforward, but they could also use other means to manipulate you. So watch out for media forces and powerful forces out there like media and things like that to really go hard on the manipulation this week. They go hard on manipulation every week, but this is just when I bring this up, this is just times to be more observant of your environment. That's really what I'm saying. So this is one of those things with this 3 of Diamonds, 8 of Diamonds week. If you're building something, if you've been building something, this is a good week. If you want to start building something, this is a good week to start, because 8 of Diamonds is a very solid, established card. I mean, like 4 of Diamonds will build you a nice, large, stable foundation. 8 of Diamonds will build you a foundation that can create a high rise. A foundation so deep, it can go sky high. But you could also be knee deep in some sky high and some bullshit too. So just because it goes deep and it can go sky high don't mean it's a good thing. You know what I mean? It can be a good thing if it's on a high vibration. But if it's on the low vibration, it could be a miles deep, miles high tower of bullshit. So the life lesson as an 8 of Diamonds week, with this being 8 of Diamonds week, the lesson for this week is really learn to how to contribute to people rather than control. You know, contribute, don't control. A lot of times people try to, when they come to working with other people, they want to control other people. And say, do it this way, do it that way. You should be this way, you should be that way. No. 8 of Diamonds is a week for you to learn how to get what you want from people through contributing to their lives in some sort of way. And through your contribution, you're going to help them grow to be the better person. And the better person they can be, the better person they can be towards you. See what I'm saying? And so and watch out for the materialism, you know what I mean? Don't go spending money on some dumb shit this week. Because some shit you've been wanting to spend money on, you might feel real heavy about that this week. Don't make that move. Be real wise about your spending this week. But here we are. This isn't a 3 of Clubs day. So because it's 3 of Clubs day, this is Kobe Bryant's birthday. Rest in peace to the GOAT. But let's read this 3 of Clubs and get a little more into Kobe's life. And we're gonna read some of his years. I'm gonna read like his age spread at 21 when he won that first championship. I'm gonna read the year he ended up having that issue in Colorado. And I'm also going to read the year of his death so we can just, jump around when it comes to this thing. Hit the like button and share, please. And if you want your personal card read, first priority is through the Cash Apps. And then after that, it will be through the chat room. You dig? So, 3 of Clubs. When I see the 3 of Clubs, the first thing I think is war. 3 of Clubs is the card of war. Kobe had that card in his birth card, but who was Kobe like on the basketball court? His biggest attribute was being a warrior. That motherfucker never gave up. It was a story Robert Ory posted just this week earlier. And they said when Kobe was a rookie, they would tease him. It would be say he wasn't a good 3-point shooter at that point of his career. So some of the vets would challenge him to different games behind the 3-point line because he hadn't developed that yet. And Kobe, being the warlike person he was ready for the smoke. But of course he was lose because he was at the time, he was 18 years old, And he dealing with vets that been in the NBA 5, 10, 12 years. And so he said what they would do is Kobe would always want a rematch, and they would not rematch him for 3 or 4 days at a time. But what Kobe would do, he would shoot them threes, and he would practice that part of his game 6, 7, 8 hours a day. And they would tease him, but there was like, at some point, it would always get to a point to where, people didn't want to play him no more because he'd win, because he was that much of a competitor. And that's one thing about war. War is competition, competition at the highest level. It's also strategy. When I see a 3 of Clubs, I'm dealing with people who I know, because the clubs is a card of mentalism. Clubs is a card of communication. When I see a 3 of Clubs, I'm also looking at somebody that can manipulate people with their minds. That's also war. See, physical war is the last end. Most war happens long before it goes physical. War is really mental. When I see a 3 of Clubs, I'm dealing with somebody who can be warlike and manipulative with their mind and communication. And one thing about Kobe when he played, one of the biggest things about Kobe was Kobe's mind games. Kobe was notorious for playing mind games on the court. He would it's a story that Iman Shumpert said. Oh, here. A matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up this video. I'm just gonna play the audio. I'm just gonna play the audio because you know how YouTube be working. I don't want these cats going around trying to demonetize my channel or some shit like that. Let me see here if I can play this.
You don't need to work out. And I'm looking at him
okay, cool. This is a story this is Tracy McGrady talking about the mind games Kobe used to play. And Kobe sitting right next to him.
This is when I knew, okay, he likes to play mind games, and he always trying to get an edge on whoever, his opponents, whatever. I don't care if I'm his friend, whatever. Right. So, right, I told him, I said, I'm about to go work out. And he was like, what are you going to work out for? You're in the off season. Like, you don't need to work out. And I'm looking at him like, okay. So, all right, go back to my room, change.
Take it easy.
Chill for a minute. I go to the weight room. Who's in there? This dude. This dude. And I'm looking like, what? Okay, so I had to start taking notes like, this dude right here. So he's always going to have an edge on somebody.
He had a hard time understanding what sarcasm was. Right. I was just being sarcastic.
Already had a year in the league, taking advantage of the young.
See, Kobe was a mind master. That's where him and Phil Jackson's relationship was so strong. Matter of fact, I might read that relationship between him and Phil Jackson. But Kobe was a master manipulator mentally. I had a friend of mine, my man Sheed. He used to be an assistant coach with the Lakers during their championship runs. That's that second championship run with Kobe and Gasol. So he used to tell me I got all the stories from him, man. I got all the stories from him. And he always talked about how mental Kobe was. Kobe was the kind of person that he said when they lost to the Celtics in 2008 in the finals, he went down to the bar and the hotel in Boston did not want to open the bar. So Kobe being Kobe found a way, called the owner. I don't know. He called somebody who was a high-ranking person at that hotel. Got them to open the bar. Kobe bought the whole bar. $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, I don't know. But he bought the bar. So when it was time to fly back to LA the next morning, Kobe had the team staff shrink wrap every bottle that he bought. Open, close, whatever. People buy the bar all the time, but they usually don't take it with them. Whatever wasn't drank just stays there usually. But Kobe said, fuck that, I'm petty. And he flew the bar back, all the liquor back to his house. And he put all the liquor in his basement. And he said, yeah, it's Bean. Like, why do you ever go down there and drink the alcohol? He was like, no. Every time I go down to my basement, I'm reminded of how those motherfuckers in Boston tried to treat me and how they was laughing when we lost. So that just made me work harder. Again, 3 of clubs is a card of mental warfare. It can sometimes be physical, but usually it's mental because it's clubs. Clubs are mental. And clubs are also cards of communication. Now, if I see the same 3 of clubs in the Mars position, now I know I'm dealing with somebody. If I'm reading someone's spread and I see they have the same 3 of clubs card here in Mars, now I'm saying, okay, this person probably like to fight a lot. That's probably where I'm dealing with a boxer or somebody that like MMA. The niggas that like catching fades. A lot of them got 3 of clubs over in Mars. But Kobe has a 7 of clubs in Mars. And a 7 of clubs is a card that has a flair for the dramatic. The 7 of clubs is a card that might manipulate you with their speech. You know what I mean? You know, again, going back to what Kobe said, they're using communication. These 3 clubs, they use more so mental mind games and word games to fuck with people. And then he has a jack of clubs in the moon, jack of diamonds in the moon. The moon is what's going on in your subconscious. The moon is the thing that's your opposition. The moon is like your other side. You know how people always say I got another side? Well, when they're in their moon, the moon is it's how I can read somebody's other side. You know what I mean? So like when people come to me for a reading, you know, they show you one thing. You know, most people, they're gonna show you one thing. But if you want to know, you know, what's the other side? What's the person's true roots? What's down there deep inside? What are their emotions? What are their relationships? You look at that moon position. That moon position is a jack of diamonds. And the jack of diamonds is a card of the United States. That's a card of, you know, big show, but also big bullshit. You know what I mean? Jack of diamonds can also be fickle with their speech. Jack of diamonds, you know, these are people that they kind of they jackasses. You know what I mean? They funny. They're very youthful. They're very jovial. But what's a common trait with youthfulness and children? They'll kind of say whatever they want to say to get to whatever they need to get. And you know, Kobe often had a very jovial spirit when he wasn't focused on basketball. He was a killer. This is what he showed you. Kobe showed you this three of clubs. But the people I know that knew him personally, he was a hella dude to be around. Another story my man She told me when they were my man, he was a coach with the Boston when he was after he had left the Lakers, he was a personal trainer, and he was training this particular player who played for the Boston Celtics. And Larry can tell you the story better than me because Larry was actually there. Larry saw this shit happen. I was just on the phone. Well, anyway, when he had gotten to Boston, his bags had gotten left with his sports equipment, with his shoes, and like all of his athletic wear. And so he called Kobe because he knew he and Kobe had the kind of relationship. It was like, hey, Kobe, hey, can you send me some shoes? The airport lost my luggage. And then he's like, Kobe was like, okay, yeah, where do you want me to send it? He said, send it to Boston. And he said, Kobe was like, what the fuck are you doing in Boston? And he was like, yo, man, I'm training big fella over here, man. He said, in Boston? All right, fuck you. He said, Kobe said, like, fuck you, and hung the phone up. Kobe overnighted Coach the purple and gold Kobe's and all Laker workout wear. So when because he knew She'd had to train big fella at the Boston Celtics training facility, so Kobe overnighted him all Laker gear and wrote it on a note like, fuck you. That's who Kobe was when the cameras weren't on. That's that jack of diamonds. Kobe's cosmic lesson, when I read someone's lesson, that means that's what they come to life to learn. That's a life lesson. When I'm reading your personal spread and I read your lesson, I'm reading, okay, what's that thing you need to accomplish? What's that thing you need to do while you're here? What are you here to learn? How are you here to grow? What's the means? The king of club is the king of mentalism. That's the king of communication. That's the king of teaching. That's the top of spreading knowledge. So Kobe's overall lesson through his life journey was to spread knowledge, spread information, spread wisdom, tell stories. What ended up happening right before Kobe died? Kobe won an Oscar for what? Storytelling. You saw when Kobe came in the NBA, he was a terrible communicator. His teammates hated him. He did not know how to lead. He didn't know how to lead. That was the biggest criticism. Kobe's selfish. He don't know how to lead. Well, by the time he retired, he was the absolute best leader of men that basketball had ever seen. I don't know if y'all know basketball as well as I do. Well, I know y'all don't know basketball as well as I do. I'm not saying the 2010 Laker team was bad. It was a really good team put together. It was a really nice team. But no way in hell that team should have beat the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were way better. There's no way in hell the 2008 Lakers should have beat the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs were way better. I'm talking player for player on the roster. The thing that got that Laker team over the top was Kobe's ability to communicate and play as a team. The King of Clubs is a club of knowing how to put pieces together and manipulate those pieces to work as one. That's the King of Clubs gift. So you see throughout Kobe's career, he started out using his communication as a means of manipulation, as a means of war, and quite in a lot of conflicts with Shaq. But also when I read his cards, when he got with the Lakers, when he was a rookie, he was in his 9 of Hearts years. 9 of Hearts is that's the top of emotion in your feelings. That's that 9 of Hearts represents. That 9 of Hearts, when it's up there, man, you be speaking to people emotional than a motherfucker. And that's what he was doing. He didn't get along with his teammates. You know, that's a lot of 9 of Hearts is emotional obstacles. He was a great basketball player, but not really the best person to be around at that time in his life. You know, that's the card of, you know, really learning yourself. That's the card in that position of learning how to control your emotions. When he started to become a better leader in his 20s, that's when he went into his 7 of club years. 7 of clubs, when it's in that Mars position, that's really where you learn how to communicate and use your words properly. Early on in those 7 of clubs years, he wasn't as good as that yet. But the 7 of clubs, this Venus represents years of your life from the years 13 to 26. Those are those Shaq years. 7 of clubs represents the area of your life from the year 26 to 39. You see, he went from being emotional and confrontational during his 20s when he was a player to, as he got into his 30s, he used his mind more. Phil Jackson talks about that a lot. He talks about that a lot, using motivating his teammates, you know, and becoming a better communicator. So by the time he gets to that second championship run, he's using his words more to communicate and using his mind more to manipulate situations positively, versus when he was in his 20s, he was using his emotion and his feelings that he had not quite learned at that point in his life. So these cards really tell you a story, man. They really do. So when I do my readings, I really can hone in on different areas of your life. So if those of you who book my personal sessions, and there's people in here who have, I can really help hone in on key areas of your life and tell you what you've gone through and also tell you where you're going. You dig? So now I'm gonna read, what was his life like? I'm gonna read a couple key years in his life. When we read the cards, we read, there are different cards for everything in your life, right? And every year you have a different shuffle. And you have a different spread. So for each year of your life, I can read a different spread. And let me see if I can pull a spread up for y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Grand solar spreads. Let me see if I can share this screen with y'all. Let me see here. Let me see if I can share this spread. Age 41. And he was a king. No, he was a 3 of clubs. Let me see. All right. All right, cool. Let me see if I can put this in my hold on, y'all. Let's see. Can I put this spread up in here and let's see if it works? Okay, y'all can see it. Okay, cool. It does. All right. Cool. Let me put this above my birthday. Let me see here. All right, so this is Kobe's. These are when I read somebody, I make sure and I read when I read you, every year you have a new spread, right? And every year your spread consists of 13 cards. So I'm gonna read Kobe's spread. I'm gonna read this spread. Let me see here. Let's see if I can. No, I done did the whole thing wrong. Oh, damn it. Okay, there we go. So when I read somebody, I can read their card and I can read everything that's in their slots. I know this might be a little bit confusing to y'all. I'm not trying to confuse y'all. I'm not about to confuse y'all. I'm just about to read something about his last year of his life at the age of 41. 41 was the last year of Kobe's life, right? All right, here we go, age 41. Kobe's card was a 3 of clubs. So when I'm reading someone's cards for the year, what I'll do is, what you do is you read their card and you read the 13, their card, which is 3 of clubs, and the next 13 cards backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's his card spread for the year, right? So I get into reading the cards for Kobe's year. That year, at the age of 41, let me see here. His yearly card was a 4. Okay. His peak for that year, I don't want to read his peak yet. His environment card for that year, damn, oh, this is the wrong spread. Man, it's going to be too much teaching to y'all off this. I'm just going to spread it to y'all. When I read his cards for the year, his reward card for the year was a 4 of diamonds. That's some sort of balancing. A balancing act. Where I can read, because they say you can read death, and I don't like reading death, where I would read it would be right here in this 5 of spades. That 5 of spades that year was in his peak position. And the 5 of spades could mean a few things. The 5 of spades can mean sudden changes. That's a card of sudden changes. Usually and it'll be, usually those sudden changes are for the better. Usually. But it's also the card of fulfillment of work. Like basically your work is done. And it's also the card of violent endings. It's also the card of travel, earthquakes. So when I read that in somebody's peak for the year, that means they can have a sudden change where they go from poor to rich, or that can mean that they go from a sudden change of loss of a life of someone dear or something like that. So when I was reading this card for when I was going back in time, because the way I got good at reading cards was reading people who are alive or dead and reading different years of their life, different times that they live, and see what was going on that year, for them. And that's kind of how you get good at, reading what's now and also reading what's coming up in the future, by learning the pattern of what happened in the past. You dig? So when I read Kobe's age 21, he was a 3 of clubs. Oh, he was in a peak position that year. Okay. 21 was the year that Kobe won his first championship. When I look at his lesson for the year, his lesson was his king of clubs. The lesson is learning how to use your words better. That was the year that Kobe and Shaq had their least amount of drama leading in their careers. Kobe's lesson that year was to learn how to use his words better and transition out of that 9 of hearts. Y'all see when I read this spread, that 9 of hearts was the year, was the season that he was in. His overall lesson was that king of clubs. This particular year was a year for him to push forward in a major way in learning how to use his words. And he did. And the result for that year was a 4 of hearts, the reward. That's the card of marriage. I think he got married that year. Did Kobe get married that year? No, he got married a little after that. I think, but he was widow girl that year. 4 of hearts is the card of brotherhood, the card of successful relationships. Like if I'm reading someone's relationship spread, and I see you guys have a combined card of a 4 of hearts, I'm telling y'all, nigga, y'all about to get married, and y'all probably gonna be have a good marriage too. So you see, like at different times in people's lives, it's almost like you have a season for everything that you go through, and that season that you live, that particular season in your life, that comes down to how much personal effort you've been putting into making yourself a better person or not. Like, I can't tell you what your year is going to look like. I can give you a range, positive or negative, but that range is really going to come down to, have you been working to your positive? If you've been working towards your positive, I can give you a set of positive outcomes that you're in store for. If you haven't been working on your positive, if you've just been kind of like on some bullshit and being okay with being on some bullshit and staying in that bullshit, then I can tell you what that's going to look like too. So yes, in some ways you do have levels of destiny, but that level of destiny still comes down to your choice. Are you working towards that destiny in a positive manner, or are you running away from that destiny? That's where your choice comes in. It's like when you play Grand Theft Auto. You see how Grand Theft Auto on the last 2 versions of it, you get to certain points in the game, and the same thing on Red Dead Redemption, you can make a choice. Do you let this criminal go, or do you kill him? And the rest of how the game works after that, what missions you go on Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead Redemption, the next set of missions are contingent upon whether you decided to arrest that criminal or arrest that person that stole something or kill him. If you let them go, you might have to deal with their gang in the future. If you kill him, it's no different in life. Like video games are a simulation of shit that we deal with in life. You know what I mean? So when you read people, when I'm reading people, I can jump around and see different areas of their life, and I can see, okay, this is the positive of what can come out if you work towards this particular destination. This is the negative that can work out. Kobe's ultimate lesson was to become a better communicator and storyteller. That's what this King of Clubs is. Kobe strived towards that. And as you work through your cards in life, as you work through these different seasons of your life, these seasons all progress you towards your ultimate goals. And Kobe's transformation, meaning when I read someone's transformation card, that's what it's going to look like for you once you've worked toward, like, this is what the lesson is. The transformation is how you're going to be living once you reach that lesson on the positive vibration. And the Four of Hearts, like I said before, is a card of family. It's a card of love. Kobe had a very dope family life and a very deep love for his children, as you can see. He was a different person, and you can tell by his funeral and what people who knew him said. He was a different person as a father than he was on the court. On the basketball court, you saw this warlike, the person that showed his face to the world was a man of war, a man of challenge, a man of confrontation. When he lived his life, he ended up becoming a man of an open heart that loved his children and was beloved by the people around him. And he used his cards wisely. He was always working towards his best. Another thing about this Seven of Clubs, this Nine of Hearts, the Nine of Hearts is also the card of sacrifice. It also doesn't mean everything's gonna be peachy cream on the way there. This was the time that Kobe broke his relationship with his family, with his parents, with his sisters. It's like he became a married man, he became a good family man, but in the process, he lost connection with his father, with his mother. They fell out of favor during this time in his life. Emotional instability is what did it. That's what did it. Emotional instability. But Kobe's lesson, being the King of Clubs, that's a master teacher. He ended up becoming a master teacher. Because when you listen to his interviews, I always say, go back to his interview on I said this before. The reason this show exists in the form that it does now, Kobe had an interview back in December 2019 on the Knuckleheads. And this was about a couple months before he died. It was like October. It was like, I just remember like a month or two before he died. And Kobe was a master teacher. He did a great job of explaining things. Kobe was talking about his injury when he tore his Achilles. They asked him a good question. They said, hey, why didn't you just retire? He said, I didn't want to retire under that. I didn't want to let circumstances retire me. I wanted to retire under my circumstances. Again, he has a lot of clubs in his deck. Clubs are mental. He has it in his Uranus. This is where that creativity realm is. And principles that jack clubs. And I noticed all of Kobe's clubs are odd numbers. Odds are challenges. Odd numbers are challenges. 3 is odd. 7 is odd. A jack is odd because 10 is even. Jack is odd. Queen is even. King is odd. All of his clubs are odd. That means he's using unconventional means of communication. But Kobe also said that in that interview, he said, yes. He said, but the way I deal with it, he said, I hated rehab. He said, but the way I dealt with it is what do I want to look like? Where do I want to be a year from now? He said, I knew if I let this thing defeat me, a year from now, I hate myself. So every morning that I woke up, I'd ask myself, what am I doing right now that's going to contribute to where I want to be a year from now? And that was his mental motivation to work out every day and get back on the basketball court. And when I heard that, that's when I said, you know what? I had been saying I'm a podcast consistently since 2010. And I do it for 2 or 3 shows and quit. Do it for 1 or 2 shows and stop. 2 shows, wait a year. 3 shows, wait 6 months. 1 show, wait 2 months. 5 shows, don't do it for 2 more years. And so when it came to my podcasting and when it came to my business, Breakthrough Advocacy Services, I said I was kind of like I was really slow walking Breakthrough. I was really slow walking that company at that time. It was open, but I was still working at that job, but I was really slow walking it. No, I had just left the job, but I wasn't. So when Kobe said that, I was like, you know what? After that, I woke up every day. I woke up every day saying, you know what? I'm going to do something today that's going to make me proud a year from now. That was great teaching that I learned in that moment. And you can book your sessions here at breakthroughas.org. Get a reading, select, pick a date. Wednesdays are pretty open for me usually. I do got some sessions tomorrow. I do got to block out some of these times tomorrow. Shit, I'll be having off calendar sessions and I'll be forgetting to come up in the website and block them. But yeah, this is what you do. Confirm your booking and get it. Because it's a lot easier to do it this way than it is to be sitting in your mind thinking and overthinking things. 175 ain't shit when it comes down to cutting to the chase and getting out your mind. But yeah, this was Kobe Bryant. He developed from using communication for war to using communication to teach and bring everybody together. He used what was in his subconscious. The Jack of Diamonds is also the card of the showman. This is who you are at your deepest level. And when Kobe hooped, when he was on that court, he was a showman like a motherfucker. I say, hell, damn the dunks. Just pull up his highlight reel of how many niggas he crossed over. Kobe was known for taking niggas' ankles, especially number 8. By the time he got to 24, he got a little older and he just was more two moves and either pass or shoot. But number 8, Kobe, that was a Jack of Diamonds all day long. Take your angles and then dunk on you. And then call you anything other than a child of God after doing it and embarrassing your ass in front of your mama. So yeah. So you see how the cards can work. Alright. Alright, I'll start reading some of y'all. I'm gonna start off with the Cash Apps. And then from the Cash Apps, I will take some of y'all's. First birthday I got in the Cash App. Let me see here. 9/23/1991. All right. 9/23/1991. You are an ace of clubs. With a child's heart. Ace of clubs, you can communicate See, the thing with the Ace of Clubs, That's a very you're very ambitious, and you're very expressive, and you're very expressive with your words too. You know how like a child, like Ace of Clubs. You know, you look at Ace of Clubs is a first card of every suite. The Ace cards go in line, Ace through King. Ace being number 1, King being 13th card of the suite. Ace of Clubs is like, you know, it's like when you have a young child, and when they talk, they be like, and the car went vroom, vroom, vroom. They hella expressive with their speech. Well, that's an Ace of Clubs. But Ace of Clubs can be, they're going to be like that the rest of their life. You know what I mean? And the cool thing about an Ace of Clubs, you're a consummate seeker of knowledge. They're like children in a way of, they're like children in the way of, children like to learn, right? Children love to learn, and they're excited about learning. Usually children are excited about going to school. It's not till they go to school that they realize school's a bunch of bullshit. And at that point, children start to become disgruntled with school. But children, before they go to school, they like learning. Same thing with the Ace of Clubs. When I say if you're an Ace of Clubs person, my recommendation to you is with a child's heart. Look at how children communicate. Look at how children learn. Because one thing that happens in life, as you get older, you start to become more rigid. You know, the older you get, the more you start to become, you know, jaded by the concerns of life, you know? And you sort of forget who you really are. You really forget, you know, you really forget that. You forget, you know, how pure life can be. So when you get to that point as an Ace of Clubs, you want to go back and look at the children and see how they get down. Because the biggest challenge to an Ace of Clubs is emotional instability. Y'all can be some emotionally unstable people. Like 1 minute is this, and then the next minute is that. You don't know what to do. Ace of Clubs birthdays are May 31st, July 27th, June 29th, August 25th, September 23rd, November 19th, October 21st, and December 17th. I know I said that. I read that real dyslexic out of order. So let me read that again in order. December 17th, November 19th, October 21st, September 23rd, August 25th, July 27th, June 29th, and May 31st. Those are the birthdays for the Ace of Clubs. So get your emotional shit in check. Ain't? Yeah. Yeah, and schedule that reading. We're gonna really get into that. Schedule that reading. Because I like to really hone in and get exactly on the dot of what people need. All right, my next Cash App. Let's see here. What's his birthday? You put too many numbers on the year. I hope. Well, the year ain't as important. It kind of is, but 02 05 1989. Ah, you are a 7 of spades. Okay. Let me read this 7 of spades spread. February 5th, 1989. You put 1989-9. I'm just going to assume that's 1989. You probably had nervous fingers. It's all right. Nervous fingers. You are a 7 of spades. You need to tap into your spiritual side. That's one thing I'm always gonna recommend. For anybody who has a 7 in their numbers in their suite, whether it be 7 of hearts, 7 of spades, 7 of clubs, 7 of diamonds, or if your birthday comes to a 7, if your birthday is the 16th of the month, the 7th of the month, the 24th of the month, I'm sorry, the 25th of the month, because that adds up to a 7. If you come up, if anything, you need your spirituality in check. Because 7 is a very spiritual number. All right. I don't care what spiritual system that you use. You can be a Christian, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Jehovah's Witness. Although, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you probably ain't gonna be into this shit. But you can use Ifat, you can use Hindu, nigga, whatever. Just get into some kind of spiritual system that works if you're a 7. But you've been a 7 of spades. You double need to be in spirituality, because the spades is a suite of spirituality. That's the most spiritual card, one of the top spiritual cards in the deck. You're literally here to learn faith and trust. All right? 7 of spades. Faith and trust is one of your issues. You kind of come here in life. You know, you have certain issues, you have certain things that may have happened to you as a child that make you lose faith in people, lose trust in people. If that's you, just understand that that was just part of your journey. Because you're here to learn faith and trust. So whatever you're here to learn, usually in life, you're presented with that challenge early. That's kind of a thing in life. Some of your earliest challenges that sort of get you jaded, we oftentimes take that as something that's defeating us. That's something that a lot of times people succumb to that. Your deal isn't to succumb to that. Your deal is to overcome that. We've all been presented with the perfect challenge in life. It's our jobs to face those challenges and deal with those challenges head on. Dig what I'm saying? That's what we're here to do. All right? So that's what you're here to do. Also, the 7 of spades, you know, you gotta, watch out for the materialism. All right? There's nothing wrong with being materialistic, but don't let materialism get you. All right? You're here to learn and have peace at your higher self. Have peace with yourself. So that means you're presented with a lot of things early in life that disrupted your inner peace. Through your journey, you will learn. Through your journey, you will learn your highest power. To ask and get a reading, you get a reading at breakthroughas.org. If you want a personal reading, make an appointment. Click on book now and book your session. That's how you get your reading. But if you want me to read you now, a quick short reading like right now, you can hit me on the Cash App. The Cash App's getting first priority. And then if I have any time, I'm not going to be here much longer because I got to do we got to do some promos down at Craig Facts, and I got to do that show later on. And then tonight, I'm actually on stage doing some stand-up. I ain't been on stage in a minute. So tonight, I'm going to be on stage cracking some jokes. So I have a very long day today. So I won't be on too much longer. So yeah, that's the 7 of spades. That's the 7 of spades. You dig? Gotta watch them. Gotta watch them. I know a few friends that are 7 of spades. Overall, good people. Their challenges are with themselves. So sometimes you can take your friends' challenges as personal, but it ain't personal. It's a challenge they have within themselves. And when I read that moon of a 10 of clubs, that moon tells me that's what they're dealing with. That's their subconscious. The moon is the card of the podcaster, the card of the music producer. I'm sorry, the 10 of clubs. The 10 of clubs is the card of the music producer. The card of the podcaster, the speaker. But they have a lot of challenges that get in the way of that. But when they live that, they'll live that. That's how they'll get to live in their transformation, which is that Queen of Heart. That's the Queen of Love right there. They have to learn to use their love and use their love to communicate. And through using their love to communicate, they got that transformation of an 8 of diamonds. And that 8 of diamonds is that card I talked about earlier, that card that stands as tall as a tower. You dig? All right, cool. Next up, next Cash App is, let me see here. I'm gonna take one more Cash App because I do want to take one. This is my last Cash App I'm gonna read. After this, don't send any more Cash Apps after this, because I really want to take. I want one caller to call in. I'm gonna do this last read. All right, February 22nd. Another February birthday, 1999. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, you a 3 of diamonds. I've been doing a lot. 3 of diamonds has been coming up a lot in my life lately. 3 of diamonds. Three of diamonds. Thank you, 3 of diamonds. You are a person of a 3 of diamonds person. 3 of diamonds deals with a lot of struggle. All right. You can get massive success off that struggle, but you're going to have a lot of challenges in life. Anytime I read a 3 of diamonds person, I'm reading somebody who's gone through a lot. They may not show it, but they've gone through a lot. You want to make sure as a 3 of diamonds that you also tap in spiritually. Because here, a lot of the shit that you deal with on an everyday mundane level is challenging. You're going to want to have to make sure you have a strong spiritual practice that you can fall back on. All right. You have a lesson of a king of diamonds. That means you can ultimately become the master business person. Donald Trump is a king of diamonds. I mean, he's a 3 of diamonds. He's a 3 of diamonds. But his businesses, when you see him get to the top of the level in business, Janet Jackson's also 3 diamonds. Business-wise, they're living their king of diamonds. You can say what you want about Trump's methods and means of getting there, and all of these odd numbers tells you, yeah, a lot of bullshit got him there. As a 3 of diamonds, you got that 7 of hearts in Venus. That 7 of hearts, man, them motherfuckers is crazy. No disrespect to the 7 of hearts, but y'all could be the most loving people, or y'all could be the most devious of evil people too. And with this 7 of hearts, with your 7 of hearts and Venus, that tells me you have a lot of emotional issues to work through. You can tend to you can tend to solve issues by saying too much, and by saying too much with your words. You got to watch how you speak as a 3 of diamonds. 3 of diamonds people know how to say the wrong thing at the right time. So if you're a 3 of diamonds, let me see, what are the 3 of diamonds birthdays? Let me go and see. You're February 22nd, so that's obviously one of the 3 of diamonds birthdays. Well, the 3 of diamonds birthdays are January 24th, February 22nd, March 20th, April 18th, May 16th, June 14th, July 12th, August 10th, September 8th, October 6th, November 4th, and December 2nd. But you are a Pisces 3 of diamonds. That means you have a deep concern for what's going on in life, in the humanity, you know? One thing you got to watch out for as a 3 of diamonds in Pisces is you don't need to be the martyr. You know, you can sometimes, the 3 of diamonds can sometimes be, if you're a dude, that could be the Captain Save-A-Ho card. My lesson be like, all right, you better make sure that as a 3 of diamonds, your relationship is genuine, because you can get too emotional into them, and you can try to save people who don't need to be saved. And then if you end up getting backbitten by that, that makes you become more bitter. And the more bitter you become, the lower the vibration you live on your card. I had to burn another incense. The last one went out. This shit smell good. So yeah, I'm not gonna take too many more readings because I have somewhere to go later on. Well, you know where I have to go, y'all. But I will take some calls. I will take like 1 or 2 calls. If you want a live reading right now, you can call in 323-744-7425. Because I haven't taken any. The last time I did call, I had to stop my call-in readings for a while because the shit broke my damn phone system. So if you want to call in, go ahead and give me a call. I'm over here getting all kind of text message requests. Nah. And if you don't want to call, that make it even easier, because with Serena, you said your birthday is June 6th. June 6th is my grandmother's birthday. Let me see. 06, 1991. Are you a Jack of Diamonds? My grandmama was a Jack of Diamonds. June 6, 1991. Yeah, Jack of Diamonds, a card, birth card of the United States. That card tells me you got a lot of potential and you're very youth-like. You're very youthful. You probably, this person here probably looks young. They probably have young acting tendencies, but they know how to get in line and act mature when time needs for them to act mature. As a Jack of Diamonds, you got that cosmic lesson of a King of Spades, which is a very blessed position because the King of Spades is the highest card in the deck, card number 52. It's a card that masters all, encompasses all. Meaning that tells me you can be whatever you need to be. You can choose your life path. Whatever you have a passion for, allow that to be your life path. Things that you're passionate about, the things you care about. Because with you having that King of Spades in your lesson, that tells me you can adapt. That tells me if you have a certain goal, whatever obstacles stand in front of that goal, you have the ability to adapt to that. Your transformation is an Ace of Clubs. So with the Ace of Clubs transformation, what that tells me is you need to act like a child. Bring back your childlike spirit. Learn like a child. Listen like a child. Learn like, when I say act like a child, not in a, because you can already act like a child in a petty way. I ain't talking about through your pettiness. I'm talking about as a Jack of Diamonds, the transformation, the Ace of Clubs in your transformation means approach life, approach the things that you want out of life with a childlike mentality. What are children like when they know they're about to go to Six Flags? They're anticipating it. They're happy. They can't wait to go. When you teach a young child something new, they're excited about learning that. You got to be excited about learning as a Jack of Diamonds. What's up, Star? Yeah, so Serena, that's how you want to approach it. Your challenge is the 10 of clubs. That challenge is over what's going on in Pluto. That's a challenge. That means it's tough. Sometimes it's tough for you to put yourself out there. You know, it's crazy because on the surface level, you could be the life of the party, but that 10 of clubs and Pluto lets me know that when it comes time for business, when it comes time for really putting yourself out there and what you do and how you get down, you scared. But that's okay. That's okay. But you having a moon of a 3 of hearts, that's also a card of playfulness, a card of fun loving. That 3 of hearts right there, deep down inside of you, you got to use that joy and let that joy push your success. Because your result is a 8 of diamonds. That's a card of towering success. But look at the United States. The United States is a supremely successful country, no matter how you look at it. That's that result of an 8 of diamonds. You dig? But no, I didn't get any calls, so that cool. I shut my phone line down because I got shit to do today. I have a lot to do. So thank you, chat room. Thank you for the Cash Appers. Hopefully what I read was something that can help you. You dig? He said we be clubbing. So yeah. Thank y'all for listening. And yeah, but for Kobe, man, rest in peace to the GOAT, to the Mamba, to the greatest to ever pick up, most skilled to ever pick up a basketball. Somebody who started out in his Sun card, 3 of clubs, a card of war, a card of mental and verbal warfare. He used that to transform into the King of Clubs, which was the card of master teacher, master communicator. And he used the cards to live his highest life. This is a 3 of Clubs day. So on this 3 of Clubs day, make sure, oh shit, let me take that phone number off. I don't want nobody calling no more. On this 3 of Clubs day, make sure that you use your mind to confront the issues that's been holding you down. Matter of fact, get out your mind and physically deal with the issues that's been holding you down. That's what the Three of Clubs teaches you. This is Eight of Diamonds week, a week of towering success if you use your cards right. If you play your cards right, everything's gonna be all right. Oh man, shit. Man, I can't hit them high notes like I used to. Shit. Also, beware this week. This week, we go into a Hearts week. Today's a Three of Clubs. Tomorrow's a Two of Clubs. Thursday's a Ace of Clubs. And then Friday is the King of Hearts. So Friday will be an emotional day. It's going to be a lot of emotion this next couple weeks. A lot of it's heart season. We're getting into heart season. A lot of coming together, a lot of breaking up. All right? A lot of emotional instability. So watch your emotions as this week comes along. Please do. Please watch your emotions as this week goes along. Because it can get very passionate. Be very temperamental. So watch out for that. Alright, my name is Dewan B. And remember, there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up the game. Get your reading at breakthroughas.org. And my book will be dropping soon. Hopefully this week. Y'all have a good one.